Spare Parts by Jay Wilburn. The robots had been on their own so long that it was difficult to remember anything different from the past. Without programmers telling them exactly what to do, it was up to the robots of varying sizes, functionality, and abilities to decide what really needed doing. This was a messy process. For many of them, they couldn't grasp they were in charge. They wandered the control rooms, cafeterias where human engineers used to eat, and empty dorms where the various shifts of workers slept, all empty, all quiet, all on their own, with no one coming back to check on them. Without regular maintenance, these smaller robots started experiencing problems. Circuits malfunctioned, rollers got gummed up with the dust that wasn't being cleaned regularly. Older robots suffered next. Parts ground down as lubricant dried and flaked. Larger motors burned out, and the hulking figures designed for lifting the heaviest things were rendered into metal statues. The robots started getting concerned. Plenty of parts still lay piled in warehouses, storerooms, and unattended labs. A few robots took it upon themselves to care for the others. She took a particular interest in the spare parts. She had many jobs before they were all on their own, but soon her time was filled with repairs. Spare parts became her life, even though she functioned quite well on her own at the time. There were a lot there was a lot to keep up with. Everything was getting older, everything breaking down, and more things were forgotten each day. She even built a couple robots on her own. Over time, she made improvements to them and built them up into larger and better equipped machines. But these started to break down too. Fewer and fewer older bots she remembered from the past remained. Occasionally, she would come across one or another that reminded her of the ones she used to know. She would pause to remember, but then get back to work because there were always more repairs. Soon the robot she had built broke down too. She tried her best, replacing filters, adjusting pumps, draining fluids, plugging leaks, replacing major components, and rigging up parts meant for other bots was eventually not enough to keep them all going. She had to let some of them go, too many of them. She placed her metal hands over each of their heads for a silent moment, then she moved on to other repairs. As she looked up from the spare parts, she saw one of the bots she created still functioning. They worked together to keep each other going as they both broke down more and more. Still, there were plenty of spare parts in storage, and they used what they needed from day to day. A couple major malfunctions threatened to take them too, but they kept plugging along and their parts did the job. As fewer and fewer robots were left to repair, they took time to rest and keep each other company. Sometimes they spoke about the past, trying to make sense of it all. Other times they sat quietly, reading, watching the sun outside, or finding something to laugh about. They knew they'd break down eventually, but they were still running for now, and they made the most of it.